On Wednesdays, we like to shoot, though, and so let's get right into it, my friends. On the nose time. And, I've been up quite early. I woke up at the crack of dawn to watch that boxing card down under Gold Coast. Jaya Pataya once again proving that he is the freaking man at cruiserweight, and he absolutely starches David Nyika in the 4th round. Look at that. That's the first knockdown, and look at him go. This is the man who a couple of years ago, Eddie Hearn said, hey, Jake Paul, you want to fight a cruiserweight? I got one for you. Golly, imagine if that would have happened. And good to see David walk out of the ring. Jaya Pataya, Zurdo Ramirez next. Look at the smile on Eddie's face. 4th round knockout. IBF cruiserweight champ. Hoping to unify the belts later on this year. And then Eddie's talking about the Usyk fight. I don't know if it'll ever happen. Usyk approaching 40, but golly, would that be interesting if he moved up to heavyweight. Usyk moving down to cruiserweight, I guess it could happen. He's not that big. But either or, it might actually be the second most interesting fight out there for Usyk at this point in his career, after, of course, the winner of Joseph Parker versus Daniel Dubois on the 22nd of February. All right, let's get into it, friends. Shall we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hut. Ariel, WWE on Netflix. I disliked a lot about it. The biggest thing I hated was the advertisements all over the ring mats. Same thing UFC did, and it looks like shit all the time. You go back and rewatch the fights a year or two later, and you think, there was a movie called Woman King? Looks like shit. Crypto BS everywhere. What the F is Sweet Sweat? I don't want to know. I hate it. Obvious why they do it, but come on. I'll get into more negatives next time. Thoughts? Love the show. Love the crew. A lot of fun listening. Thank you. P.S. Frank's Golden Globe slap joke was great. You no-sold it. Bad play. What was the joke?
Yeah. What do you like to know?
I couldn't care less. Honestly, I couldn't care less. I think it's weird that Real American Beer is one of them. I feel like you look at the sponsors that are on there right now. There's Fortnite. There was Riyadh Season. There was maybe Prime. There was Netflix. It all kind of feels like, blue chippy. And what the hell is Real American Beer? I don't even know if that's a real thing. Is it a real thing? I guess it is. Yeah.
Frank was slamming some last night after the show.
Oh, okay. How is it?
Right now.
Oh, wow. All right. Drinking on the job.
It's very watery, very, very American. What if they went the KSW route and had like the ads on the
on the wrestlers?
On the wrestlers.
GoldenPalace.com. It's been a while since we saw that sort of thing outside of the world of KSW. I'm not really bothered. In fact, it almost makes
it, to be honest.
It kind of makes it feel like real combat sports in a weird way, because you associate it with boxing, with MMA. We are used to this. I know, there was once a time way back in the day, WCW, they would have the logo in the middle. Sometimes they would have a Snickers logo for a big pay-per-view. Don't really care. I actually thought more people would be upset with the black canvas. That was new. They now have blue for SmackDown, black for Raw. I wonder if they brought the black out so that the actual sponsor logos would pop more. I don't know. But I thought people would be more bothered by that. Or even the referees having a different shirt. They changed those as well. They now have like a dark gray black shirt, which wasn't always the case. But honestly, I really couldn't care less. And it does not bother me one iota. And I know back in the day, Vince used to say, it's too cluttered. It cheapens the brand, whatever. TKO is about making money, as they should be. They're not doing this for charity. And they see this blank canvas. Let's make some money. No one bats an eye. No one will even remember the old days in a few years. By the way, speaking of making money, the one thing that continues to make me laugh is when they celebrate. Like when The Rock was out there saying, this is the highest arena gate in WWE history, and everyone's like, yeah. You're just celebrating that you paid a lot of money for those tickets, right? Like, there's not a ton to celebrate there.
But doesn't it also mean that, like, no empty seat? Like, they sold every...
No. I'm 100% with you, Ariel. When I heard that, I was just like...
It's just a dollar figure?
There's not more seats in the building. There's still only 16,000 seats in there. Like, you're celebrating paying more for... Like, congratulations, you guys are a part of the biggest gate. Like, I would be angry at that.
It's a weird one. If they would have said... This is the biggest crowd ever. Obviously not the case. They're in an arena. Okay, that's cool. Like, oh, wow, 93,000. But all you're celebrating is the fact that you paid a shitload of money. Now, you're seeing a common thread here with the UFC and WWE. TKO's come in and realized, hey, this stuff is popular. Let's just like the crowds aren't getting bigger per se. They're selling out as they were generally. They're just charging more for these tickets. And thus, every time out there, you're seeing, we broke the record here. We broke the record here. This is our highest, our highest gate for a Raw, our highest gate for a PLE in America, our highest gate overseas, our highest gate for a fight night. It's just, they just figured out that they can now charge more. And good on them. That's not a knock. I just think it's funny when the crowd cheers for these things. Anyway, Patrick McCrate, favorite segment of the week. Ariel, that Cain interview was amazing. When he was breaking down Aspinall, I couldn't get enough. My question, Prime Cain versus Aspinall, who wins and why? And for those new fans, enlighten them on just how good Cain was. Cain was revolutionary because, and it was interesting hearing him talk about coaching younger fighters and saying that he focuses on the striking with them. This is an incredible collegiate wrestler. This is an All-American. This is a champion collegiate wrestler from Arizona State University. He was unbelievable, and then he comes over and he develops in large part due to the work that that he had with the great coach Javier Mendez. He became a solid MMA striker as well. He was quick on his feet. He was big. He was strong. He had tremendous takedowns and takedown defense. He was the total package. He really was. Now, he didn't love the interviews and the showmanship and all that stuff, but who cared about that back then? I mean, it didn't really matter. He was representing Mexico and America, the Mexican-American community as well. His family had a great backstory. He was just so quick, and he would move like this, and then you would see him change levels, either take you down, ground and pound, or knock you out with tremendous boxing. And yes, I agree. I thought his breakdown was great. A lot of people were interested in it. And I hope I'm not breaking the fourth wall, but even Aspinall himself was touched. He was like, wow, you asked Cain about me? And he knows who I am. That's how humble Aspinall is, which I thought was great. And I was like, well, are you bothered that he, said that Jones was going to beat you? And he's like, no, not at all. He doesn't care about that sort of thing, which is part of the reason why I love Aspinall. I just wish the best for Cain. His story is a hard one to process for any human being, especially a father. And he seems to be in a great spot. He seems to be in tremendous spirits. He seems to be at peace with everything. And I can't imagine being in that sort of state when you have your sentencing in, 17 or so days. Perhaps he knows how it's going to play out already, and that's why he could be in that state. But, I say this time and again, those guys from that era, I get emotional when I talk to them because they remind me of those days, 2010, 2011, 2009, and the bond that we had. I would always see Cain, and one time I actually told him that I was a bit of a germaphobe, and so our running joke, and I referenced it at the beginning, was we would give each other a fist bump, but like an air fist bump, and that's why I did this at the beginning, and he laughed. So, yeah, just great memories, and I'm happy to see him in great spirits. I remember when the incident happened, and he was going through all of that, and it was literally 3 months after he was on the show again. He talked to us about the ayahuasca and the kind of spot that he was in mentally and the good spirits that he was in, and it was just heartbreaking to see what had happened once you find out about the details. And so let's see how this all plays out, but I think everyone in the MMA community is pulling for him, and ultimately you're asking me Cain versus Aspinall, the fans would win. That's my answer.
Boo.
Sorry. Who wins?
I got Cain.
Yeah.
But no disrespect to Tom Aspinall. I think the best version of Cain probably beats any heavyweight who ever lived. Like, he really has no weaknesses. He really has no flaws. The cardio is going to be there. The striking's there. The wrestling's there. Like, he can beat a big guy. He can beat a small guy. He's kind of flawless in his prime. Once the knees went, then it was like, all bets are off. Francis Ngannou is going to catch you if that's the case. But at his absolute best, I might have Cain as the best who ever did it.
Do you think he was okay with me saying that Tom reminded me of a potential love child of one Frank Mir and himself?
I think he was okay with it, but I will say that, like, as you said it, the wheel started turning in my head, and I was thinking that he was thinking I'd whoop his ass. I think that's what he was thinking.
I freaking love that.
That in his prime, he was thinking in his prime he would whoop his ass. Because he wasn't, like, immediately effusive, and then he starts to, like, kind of, like, stretch it out and be like, he's great, he's good, yeah, kind of see it. Like, he didn't, like, immediately go to, like, I love him. And so I was like, I think in his head he was now I'm just playing like psychoanalyst based on nothing, but the delay to me made me think he was thinking A, he would whoop his ass, or B, what he kind of then ultimately said later in terms of like he thinks he's flawed in a certain way because his patterns are predictable. But yeah, man, Cain at his apex was a bad MFer, man. Really bad dude.
Kyle, hey GC, I'm interested in your thoughts on round robin parlay bets. I don't think I've heard you bet one on the show. Do you hate them, or do you just don't take them on the show because they are too hard to explain?
Yeah, I don't hate them, but yeah, it's just too much to explain on the show. It's essentially a parlay where you're taking, say you're taking 4 legs, but you're putting in multiple bets to where if only 3 legs hit, then a few bets will hit. If only 2 legs hit, then that one bet will hit. It's a way to sort of cover yourself on the parlay, but you have to be putting in multiple bets. But sportsbooks now give you the option to where you can just round robin the selection, so it'll be like 10, 15, 20 bets at $10 a piece. It's just too complicated to like.
Yeah, you already lost me.
Yeah, it's
that one. The one that you do where it's like the points.
The point spread is probably about as complicated as I'll go.
All right,
that one is pretty simple when you find out the rules.
Death of Arthur. Hey Ariel and crew, I'm a member. And I missed GC and Rick's live chat last month. When are you guys doing another one so I can make plans to see it? A cheeky request. Tell Ant Evans to do a live members chat as well. He is a ride in the chat every week. Gosh, we found Ant's one fan. That's amazing.
That's just Ant.
It's actually
that's Ant's account.
That might be Ant. I don't know about this members chat that he's talking about, but sounds like a great idea. Great question. Because I will be doing one next Thursday. I will be doing a members-only live chat next Thursday following the Boys in the Back. So that is, what would that be, the 16th of January?
What do you mean you don't know what you were like, I don't know about this members chat thing?
Well, no, he's saying, he wants Ant to host it?
Yeah,
yes.
I thought he meant like
an Ant members chat.
Oh, jeez.
He's saying he saw our chat. When's the next chat? And give us an Ant chat.
Oh, I thought he said, I didn't see your chat. When is the next one?
Yes.
Also,
that's actually exactly.
That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said.
Yes, and PT's talking, and I don't hear a word that he's saying. I just see him like shooting guns. What's happening, PT? You're just like talking and shooting guns.
PT and the dots in the microphone is the #1 rivalry in MMA.
What's going on? What's happening?
How many Negronis do we have on that mic right now?
Pizza and the microphone that he has to adjust the dots on. This is a feud.
You're right, PT.
Frank's just getting a bit aggressive with me, and I've got an itchy.
It's still sitting at trigger finger. I don't know.
Why does it do this? I don't know what to do. Look, and he
turning
takes
up the mic. I had to explain to him the dots are called Negronis. Leave 5 Negronis on the mic for me, not 6.
Here, this never happened in my old job, Ariel. Do you remember the mic just stay where it was? Something to do with
it. Yeah. What did you want to say when you were shooting the guns?
Oh yeah, I was just taking the piss out of you. Sorry, the moment's gone.
Okay, fair enough. In any event,
wait, you were about to plug your chat though.
No, I said next Thursday after the Boys in the Back, I'll be doing a chat.
Look at that.
And I thought that he was saying like a chat where everyone could talk together. But if he wants an Ant hosted chat, I mean, you could put it up on the poll. Will more than 3 people show up? I don't know, but I guess if you want it, it could just be.
I feel like love for Big Ant out there.
Nah, I just
I feel like every chat room. Every chat room is an Ant's members chat at this point.
That is a great call.
It's kind of
holding court over there.
I get an on call every week, and it's like getting a chat. You know what I mean? He's in there discussing various topics. It's great.
I just get an Ant podcast. I don't pick up, so I'll get an 8-minute voice note. It's great. I do want to also mention, if you are a member, for the next 5 weeks, you will get interviews from our live show back in May at the NJ Pack in Newark, the night before UFC 302. We had Armin Sarukian, Kayla Harrison, Aljamain Sterling, Ali Quinta, Alex Pereira, and the great Daniel Cormier, all live up there with us for about 30 minutes. And great chats, which still hold up. Not a ton has happened to these individuals since. And it's my last chat with DC on air, and it was a great look back. That was a bit of a longer one. And so every Saturday for the next 5 or so months, members only, these have never been seen before, we will post those on the channel. So if you're not a member, step up. Matt Moe. Well, speaking of stepping up, he's asking about a stepping down. Ooh, I could get in trouble with this one. Sup, Ariel? Your thoughts on Justin Trudeau stepping down as Prime Minister of Canada? Now, Frank, I consider you my moral compass when it comes to all things politics. Should I answer this question or not?
You should answer it.
Oh, okay. Wait, I heard.
Did he step down though?
I heard someone just say no in the background over there.
No, that's from another issue that we have.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yes, he did step down. He announced that he'd be stepping down, and he would be allowing, if I got this correctly, he would be allowing for a new leader for the Liberal Party, a new representative to step up because of the upcoming election, which we expect will happen in the next few months between now and October. And so the thought process is he is so unpopular at this point, they want someone else to be the representative. In Canada, much like I think in Ireland, unlike here in the United States, you vote for the party, not the individual. And so the Liberal Party thinks if we have someone else in this spot, we have a better chance of beating the Conservatives. And the leader of that party is Pierre Poilievre. I have already said on this program that I like Pierre a lot, and I like what he stands for and what he believes in. And I have also, I think, alluded to the fact that I do not like Justin Trudeau for multiple reasons. Some personal, believe it or not, and some political. And I actually will say that there was a time where I was a fan, in large part because Justin Trudeau's the son of Pierre Elliott Trudeau, who is one of the most beloved prime ministers in the history of Canada. The airport in Montreal is named after Pierre Elliott Trudeau, who was in power in the late 70s and early 80s. And when his son came into power, he, and he's been prime minister for, I think off the top of my head, 9 years. He was a fresh-faced, young, good-looking guy, and he was bringing in a lot of fresh, new, innovative ideas. And it's just been an absolute mess. It's been an absolute mess dating back to the pandemic and since, a myriad of reasons that I don't really need to get into here. But I'm very happy to see him go, and I say sayonara to him. I will also say, if you're a fight fan, he once had a celebrity sort of like charity boxing match. There's actually a picture of him weighing in. And I also do believe that he once sparred, believe it or not, Vanderlei Silva, a friendly spar. But if you type in Justin Trudeau and Vanderlei Silva, there's some stuff out there. As crazy as that sounds, it's true. So anyway, not a fan, sayonara. And what a war raging on, guys, between Canada and the U.S. What is going to happen? Is Canada going to become the 51st state? Do you guys see this stuff? I mean,
financially annexed?
Yeah. They're going to use economic force to take over Canada. Where am I going to sit in this battle?
Are we going for Greenland too?
Oh, everything. But I mean, obviously the Canadian one is near and dear to my heart. Two perhaps of the greatest neighbors of all time who have lived in harmony for, centuries. Now, are we finally reaching? Did South Park predict this way back when in 1999?
I think it's The Simpsons predicted.
No, South Park. Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
The Simpsons has like a newspaper, or was it Futurama? One of them shows a newspaper or.
Nah, the South Park one was the big one. Was the South Park movie was the first time that Canada was painted in such a negative light. And I remember playing in the Maccabi games, the Pan Am Maccabi games, and I was sitting in the bus as I was representing Canada the summer that this film came out in 1999. And who else but the great Doug Gottlieb comes on the bus. He was a member of the American team, and he sees us all wearing the Canadian gear, and he starts singing, I kid you not, Blame Canada. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Could you imagine the despair that we were in? And then, of course, I brought up the fact that he was kicked out of Notre Dame for some credit card fraud situation, and I think he had some issues elsewhere. But listen, tit for tat, eye for an eye. So anyway, yeah, it's tense times. But I think he's just winding everyone up, if I'm being honest. He, of course, I'm talking about 47. We doing a watch party for the inauguration? What are we doing on the 20th?
I thought we were doing a watch party. Starting now, we were going to stream every day up until.
I'm going to be at Mar-a-Lago.
Ah, yeah. You know yourself.
Boots on the ground.
Aldo, the way I see it, pro wrestling / WWE is for kids. I used to be a huge fan when I was a kid until I realized it was fake. For me, that was much worse than finding out Santa Claus wasn't real. By the way, he spelled Santa Claus Clause, like the Santa Claus.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, I was such a big fan that one of my first fights in school was me doing the crippler crossface on a kid and making him cry. I don't think I could ever get into it as an adult until I have a kid of my own who likes it. But am I right in assuming pro wrestling demographic is children under the age of 18? You are incorrect. Are you kidding me? I mean, the Attitude Era was all about 18 to 34-year-old males in particular. That's when it got, very, very R-rated. Now it's more PG-13. But I know a lot of people who are in their 30s, 40s who are into it. And again, we don't have to get all into this and get all,
we also think this person doesn't know the answer to this question?
Maybe he's winding me up. But here's the thing. One more time. Yes, we're all aware it's scripted. In fact, never before has the WWE leaned so far into the fact that it's scripted. In fact, they even have a YouTube channel. I'm always sending Rick videos from it called WWE Vault, where they show you like the guys rehearsing their promos and vignettes backstage. The whole thing is scripted. We know all of this. And guess what? Some of your favorite shows and movies are scripted as well. What is the difference? Is the difference that it's happening in front of a live audience in an arena where they usually have, non-scripted sports? Is it because you feel like they're trying to pull one over you? I don't get it. If you just say like it's boring, I'm not into it, I don't like the athleticism, I don't like the acting, like that's fine. I don't like Game of Thrones. I don't like anime. I don't like Pokemon. I don't like
those
Dragon Ball
words.
Z. But if you're telling me that your issue with it is that it's scripted, well, so are all those other things. So is my favorite TV show, Seinfeld. So is The Wonder Years. So is Curb Your Enthusiasm. So is
actually
all
Curb
these
is
things.
not scripted.
Yeah, well, you know what?
I mean, just had to defend them there. Yeah.
You get the point. It's loosely scripted, okay? It's improv.
I mean, it's almost close to wrestling, to be honest.
Yeah.
Got
You know what? You're right.
Rhythms, and then they
You're 100% right. I don't get that. I don't get it.
I think you touched on something, though, that makes a lot of sense there, which is that maybe the friction in this is that for many, many decades, pro wrestling and pro wrestlers did try to blur that line, right? They did try to maintain kayfabe and kind of say, like, oh, it's not real, and take that as an offense. I do think we've moved into an era where, like, nobody is under that guise anymore. The kayfabe stuff is pretty much dead at this point, nearly universally. But I still don't understand why people are so concerned about other people's consumption of wrestling rather than just their own. Who cares? I don't care who likes wrestling or doesn't like wrestling.
We were talking about this off air the other day. At least Connor and I were. It's changed from, oh, that's fake, to, oh, I'm not really into this. But it's like everyone has to justify, like, I'm not into this.
Very weird.
But so I think that's the new meme, is making sure everyone knows that you're quote unquote not into it.
But
yeah, what was the last event before the Raw on Netflix one? You told us to watch it. Was it maybe on
Rumble,
Black Friday?
I mean, WrestleMania, no?
No. There was one you told us to watch in November.
Survivor Series,
and I turned it on and I was with one of my boys, and the whole time he just told me how he'll never be a fan of wrestling. I'm just like, I don't care. This is what we're watching.
Yeah,
this is what's on. And then by the end of it, he was like, all right, I get why people watch it, but I will never be a fan. I'm just like, I don't give a shit, man. I am not a fan either. It's okay.
Do you think it's almost like a shame thing where it's like they actually do like it, but they have to tell you they don't like it?
I think
100%.
they think it's just so nerdy and not their thing that they just couldn't fathom.
But if there's something that happens in my life and I don't like it, I don't tell people I don't like. I don't go around telling people that.
People are weird.
Cares? Why
does
anybody
tell you a story
care?
about the pharmacy the other day, and you're like, I don't want to hear that.
I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me this shit. I don't want to hear what you like.
By the
or
way,
don't like.
Go on Netflix right now. Number 1 global is Raw.
I
More
agree.
than Squid Games.
Big Rick over here plays Magic the Gathering. I would never.
Yes.
He's not telling me every 5 minutes.
It's weird.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
I'm just kidding.
Listen, I agree. I think it's weird too. When I went to my kids visiting
You
day,
motherfuckers, you're just doing this on air? Huh?
Nah, listen, I went to my kid's visiting day and we were looking in his bunk, and then I'm like, whoa, what, whose cards are these? There was stacks of Magic cards. He's like, oh, that's my counselor. And then the counselor walked in just as I was kind of sifting through, and I was like, ooh, this is weird. This is weird.
Card. Shout out. That's a legend right there.
Nah.
Wow, I was really.
Do you have the cards as well?
No, I don't.
Now you're really getting.
When I was a kid, I did. Now I just play it online.
What?
I have cards.
This has been a thing for decades,
Decades.
Oh
Magic
man,
the
this
Gathering?
is
I've been playing since I was
old,
9, and fuck you guys for caring.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, to that point, GC's not confronting me in the cafeteria every day, being like, I could never do it. Why is that specific to wrestling? Where is that from? I don't understand.
Who knows? I'm tired of trying to understand where these people are coming from. All I'll say is they got to Netflix first, which is where everyone from the NFL to the NBA, they all wanted to be there. And they have a consistent deal with Netflix, and it's worth billions of dollars, and it's only going to make wrestling more popular, and it's only better for everyone involved. So if you don't want to watch it, there's a gazillion other things out there. Just watch those things.
We don't care.
Yeah, watch Silk Stockings on USA Network instead, all right?
What's
Enjoy.
Silk Stockings? That sounds a bit erotic.
Like for
I
the
think it
90s?
is, and also I don't think that probably airs anymore. That's probably like a 20-year.
Nah, they
I was
would
going to
they
write
would-
that one
they would
down.
put that-
Silk Stockings. Is that
They
right?
would put that on after Raw sometimes.
That's
Shoe
my point.
Diaries.
This is from 20 years
Yeah,
ago.
whatever.
Shout out to Wizards of the Coast who created Magic the Gathering. I'm here. Just
Yeah, no.
I'm here.
Also,
Ariel,
I'll sing your praises all
90210
day.
is no
I'm here.
longer on air. Just so you know.
I that was a tremendous program, as was Dawson's Creek. I will also say, if not,
Dawson's Creek was
These
ass.
references are not
That one
aging
broke
you
quick.
at all.
listen, if not for Monday Night Raw, as the great Paul Heyman once explained in the first chapter of this program, the MMA Hour at AOL, which was on this floor, maybe even in this corner of the floor, way back when. If not for Vince McMahon saying, yeah, I don't mind the first season of The Ultimate Fighter coming on at 11:05 after Monday Night Raw on Spike TV, there maybe isn't a UFC or a Dana White or a Us or an Uncrowned or anything. That changed everything because all those fans stuck around after Monday Night Raw and said, ooh, what's this? And that's what absolutely changed the fortunes of the UFC. So proved to be a pretty monumental moment, and you're an MMA fan pretty much because of WWE. Matt
What's
Chiwi,
that got to do with Dawson's Creek?
Yeah, they're gonna love that.
hello all, and welcome back. Couple of quick fire questions for you both. Different. Oh, they're both different. When is the first GFL fight going to be? April 4th. Location TBD. Kevin Lee said it yesterday. And then number 2, as I sit here feeding my second-born son, who's nearly 4 months old and was 2 months premature, I ponder, do I have a different kind of bond with this child to his sibling who's turning 3 in a few weeks? Do you, Ariel, and I think Rick, who I believe is the only other parent, as is Frank and Andy as well, have a different kind of bond with each of your children? Absolutely. I mean, boys and girls are different. The ages are different. There are definite common bonds, absolutely, but I have a different connection. I mentioned my second son, Walter, is very much like me, and I see a ton of similarities between us. And then my first son is a little more laissez-faire and laid back, but I have a ton of interest with him as well. And then the bond with the daughter is completely different. So, I think that's pretty natural. I think everyone is the same. I don't think that's something to be afraid of or ashamed of, right, Rick? I mean,
it's not. No, I hate there. Everybody wants to know this idea of like where they fit in your hierarchy. Am I your best friend? Am I your second best friend? Am I your third best friend? Every relationship is unique. There's not this tiered structure. It just doesn't exist that way. And so, yes, your relationship is different with all these kids. It doesn't mean the love is here or here or here. It's just how it is. But yeah, they're individual humans. My 2 daughters, I have 2 daughters and a son. My 2 daughters could not be more different. And so naturally, how could my relationship be the same with the 2? It's just completely different.
Do you know how you know the bond has been solidified? Yesterday, we're sitting at lunch, and my Apple Watch goes off, and I look at it, and it says, Pimp Daddy 69 would like to have access to your PayPal account with this code. And I show it to Rick. He's like, who is it? I'm like, this is my kid.
Is that really his name?
And I texted him, and he was like, yeah, sorry, Dad. I was trying to get a chess app. I didn't realize it was 99 cents. It's tied to your PayPal account. I'm like, it's all good. Pimp Daddy 69.
Yeah. Oh
I see you.
Wow.
Sick
name.
username,
Did you ask him about the genesis of the username, or
No,
did we drop it there?
And this is the thing, because he's so much like me, I know what the genesis is. Like, it's irony.
Oh, okay, Pimp Daddy,
All right.
whatever number.
I don't think it is.
69
My
was
first
the number.
screen name on AOL Instant Messenger was Huge Joint, and I was like 12. I just picked it randomly, and then I had friends at school say, my mom says I can't talk to you online. I'm like, why? She's like, your screen name. I'm like, what's wrong with my screen name? Wasn't until years later I'm like, yeah, that probably didn't look so hot. Huge Joint is trying to message you right now.
Was the name Hugh Joint or like
Huge?
Just Huge Joint?
Yes.
No,
Wow.
okay, so
Just
no
subtlety.
no wordplay or
pretense,
anything.
no
Like,
nothing.
I had never
Huge
smoked
Joint.
or been around it. I was 12, and I'm just like, oh, this is a
great.
funny name. Yeah, put
That's
myself
great.
on an island. I did.
I can't believe he got Pimp Daddy 69. Like, that's a sought after name.
In fact, I'm going to pay him to get that screen in.
Frank wants it.
This is from Who the Fuck Is We? Bonjour and shalom, Ariel. Time to test your journalistic integrity once and for all. Although as a 6-year weekly listener, I have the utmost faith. Agree or disagree? Saying Josh Allen's start streak is still intact after simply one snap against the greatest football franchise of all time, New England, is a bit ridiculous. No, absolutely not. What are you talking about? He could have played the entire game. He wanted to just go out there for the boys to show that, hey, despite the fact that I may have broken my left hand in week freaking 1 en route to becoming the NFL MVP, I'm going to waltz out there, take the snap, and then say, Mitch Trubisky, Mike White, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And what a performance it was by my beloved Buffalo Bills, allowing the New England Patriots to win the game and thus drop from the 1st pick overall to the 4th pick overall, that loser franchise, and thus firing their coach. Not sure why, if it was because of the win or whatever. I mean, it was just a masterclass from Sean McDermott and the boys. James Cook gets his record. Josh Allen gets his record. He's going to win the MVP. Anyone who says otherwise is just a plain old hater. We're looking good. We're feeling good. Heading in to what should be, I feel pretty good going into at least the divisional round. Wild card round. I always get confused with the wild card, super wild card, divisional round, first round. If we have to face the Ravens, I will admit, squeaky bum time, a little bit nervous. But we're heading into the first round of the playoffs, the super wild card round, against one of the surprise playoff teams, the Broncos of Denver. And wouldn't you know it, our good friend, the myth, the man in the hat, the mayor of the Nutmeg State, the one and only Chuck Mindenhall, is a diehard, lifelong Broncos fan. Now, of course, he probably isn't that big of a fan anymore because he witnessed them win back-to-back Super Bowls, and he kind of jumped off the bandwagon.
You can't do this to people.
Just
because they have had success, it does not mean that'd be me like saying to you, "Here, listen, Forrester coming second. He's won the European Cup. Calm down." You know?
I wasn't there. I didn't witness it. So to me, it's all new.
Relax, mate. It's old hat.
I asked the man in the hat to come on today's program to debate me as to why he thinks his Broncos even have a chance to appear in some sort of dogfight, to hang in there with the Buffalo Bills on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And guess what, PT? Guess what?
He's on right now. How's it going, Chuck?
He declined.
Oh,
he didn't want the smoke. But guess what he did? Typical Bronco fan. Guess what he did? He sent us this.
All right, and we can accommodate all 53 wives and coaches? Perfect. We'll see you in February. Ariel, what's shaking, man? It's Chuck, your boy. I'm out here in the magical kingdom, getting set for my Denver Broncos to be here in February. A little recon to send my boys out here. Tough draw, man. I am sorry that we have to do this. I'm always about the Bills. This was a tough draw. I think the last time the Broncos played the Bills in the playoffs was the only time, 1991 AFC Championship. You guys got the better of us that time, but we're playing with house money this time. Young and hungry, baby. Young and hungry. We shouldn't even be here. I think they set us at 5.5. 10 victories, baby. We'll see you on Sunday.
Look at this guy. This guy is walking around the match. I have a rule. Was that a Bo Nix jersey?
That was a Bo Nix like throwback style jersey. That's a gem.
It's only wore the weekend, yes.
I'm sorry, Chuck. You can't wear a jersey of someone who's younger than you, okay? I mean, that's a faux pas. You can't do that. No, wear your John Elway jersey.
Listen, he's not here to defend himself. You calm down. Jordan, clip all this off.
Lame jersey rule.
Where's your Terrell Davis jersey?
I'll wear a 19-year-old's jersey right now. I don't care.
You wouldn't wear an Allen jersey?
Hang on, is Chuck away? Do I need to find someone for Friday now? This is a predicament.
No, he's
anticipating.
I used to have a friend that had a jersey rule similar to that, but it was he can't wear any jerseys because he can't wear another man's last name on his back. I'm just like,
wow. Well, that's weird.
It's just not that serious.
No, that's weird.
Is he a swinger?
What does yours have to do with age? You can't wear the jersey of someone younger than you?
No, that's weird too. Look, I'm just trying to take shots. He says his team is going to be my team.
Yeah, they might, man. Bo Nix is balling.
What is it? 7.5, 8.5?
He said 5.5. I don't know if that's true.
No, I
feel like if it's only 5.5, they're begging.
No. I think he meant they had them listed at 5.5 wins.
Oh, okay. All right, and they got. So
he's saying we're playing with the house money, yeah.
10 wins not as special with the 17-game season, you know.
I agree.
Could be tricky one, Ariel. You know what I mean? They could keep. They could force
Josh
third and long for the rest of the night. And
Stop it.
Make him go with his arm.
5.
Minus 455 for the Buffalo
Good
Bills.
defense. Good defense.
No, they're good.
Still,
Listen, I wanted the Pittsburgh Steelers because they were a fraud. I didn't want the Bengals. The Dolphins suck, but they know us very well, and they played us tough at home. I didn't really want them as well, and so the Broncos were probably the best choice. But I'm nervous as hell. I mean, the Ravens are obviously super tough, and then of course the Chiefs probably. You'll see them in the conference channel. I don't know. I just won't freaking watch.
I'm so excited.
I might have to wear my
So
Lamar
excited.
jersey tomorrow.
If you wear your Lamar,
I have my Lamar jersey as well.
Yeah. You wear the Lamar jersey
fuck
too.
both of you. Wear it this week.
Is yours black?
No, mine's purple.
Oh, I got the purple.
Wear it
one,
this
too.
week,
It's so great.
not next
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll wear it this week. If you guys play, you know.
Well, no, you know what? What makes more sense? Wear your Penix jersey this week in ahead of their playoff game, and then.
I'm on Bills though
So
this
I'm okay
year.
with
Bills,
it,
I threw a big old ton down on them there the other
I
day.
just have to say,
Oh,
Penix is such a gamer. We were winning that game until he saw the Bucks won, and then he was like, "You know what? We need to actually lose this now,
Yeah.
so we'll get a higher draft pick." It was big brain shit from Penix. Kirk Cousins
OT.
is never doing that. Kirk Cousins is never doing that.
He's way better than Cousins. He's unbelievable. I think he's class.
Lefty
But
too.
yeah, he's
Lefty
really
named Mike.
Yeah, no, he's great.
But
He's great.
it's Josh
Let's
Allen,
get Mark
baby. It's Josh
Ramondi
Allen's
on,
year.
Falcons
The Bills
beat writer,
year,
to
gonna
tell us
win.
more about him.
He's gonna
Now
fucking
we're
win.
talking.
I think the Bills are gonna win this year. Honestly,
You think they're going to win it all? Plus 600 right now to win the Super Bowl.
Hey, real
but
quick,
that's what I did.
Rick was
200
trying to
win
talk
it.
me into a Ravens plus 600.
PT,
I
what's up
saw
with the
that as
candle
well.
behind you?
It's lighting.
All right,
Yeah, no,
good to know.
it's helped out. Yeah, I think it's doing
Really
doing the
illuminated
Lord's
the
work.
back of your
Winter
head.
It's called Winter Punch.
Oh, that's like
And
a
if you're not
soccer
careful-
bobblehead
if you're
right
not
over your
careful-
shoulder. I thought it was Justin Herbert.
Which one?
Okay, let
Oh,
me
yeah.
squeeze in a couple more here. Joe, personally, my walkout of the year was Anthony Smith. Not all for good reasons. The raw emotion pouring out got me like no other walkout this year. Any other walkouts where the backstory impacted how you felt watching it? I mean, it's a great shout, and it's an interesting one. It's sort of like, you know, PT went with Francis Ngannou for a promo sometimes, or like feel good moment. Actually, with Oban, I was thinking the same because it is drawing from a tragic moment in one's life, a tragedy that they're trying to overcome. The Anthony Smith one was really hard to watch. I remember, was it Kat Zingano who was crying during her walkout when she fought Misha Tate? I think it was, if memory serves me correct, and she had been through a lot. There's been other people who have cried. Did Michelle Watterson ever cry? I don't know. There have definitely been other ones, and there have been ones that there's emotion attached and whatnot. But yeah, that's a recent one, and it was tough. And I don't disagree. I will not argue against your call here. Bally Bunyan, Ariel, have you seen Dermot Kennedy's Tiny Desk concert? I have not. I know you expressed how much you love those. He is up there as one of the best in my opinion. Just an incredibly passionate performance. I love Tiny Desk. My favorite is the Juvenile one. Shout out to Action Bronson. His was tremendous as well. He does say, curious to hear PT's take on Dermot, as he is an Irish singer-songwriter, wondering how he is perceived over there in Ireland by the people and what PT thinks about him, considering last show he said how artistic of an individual he was. Dermot Kennedy?
Yeah, I know Dermot Kennedy. Yeah, he's a great singer. He actually lives in New York, as far as I know. Yeah, really popular over here. Sells out massive venues. I haven't been to see him myself. I don't know any of his songs off the top of my head, but
all right.
yeah, very
Well,
good.
there you have it. Steven, glad to have you guys back. Looking forward to UFC London. Leon versus JDM is as yet not confirmed, and Paddy v. whoever not confirmed. What, if any, news is out there on Paddy and who will be facing? I have not heard. And yeah, I did mention the Leon JDM one, I think last year, at the end of the year. It looks like they're going in that direction. So let's see. Maybe we'll be out there for that. Who knows? You know, a little live show. George, don't rush St. Pierre. Lord Ariel, for this week's social etiquette question of the week, how do you get people to leave your house when the party is over? I had some friends over on New Year's Day and we had a great time. After midnight, we opened up another bottle and continued the festivities, but after 1 a.m. passed, I started to clean up and hint at being tired. The fellas stayed till 3 a.m., but I don't know how to get them to leave. What should I have done? This is a great question. Gosh, I want to draw upon a recent experience. There's a 0.01% chance they're listening. So should I just say it? Is that the beauty of?
Yeah.
Well, recently we had people over, and it was getting a little.
Whispering
late.
doesn't help.
Okay, recently we had people over, and it was getting a little bit late. And I also wanted to watch the Knicks Thunder matchup on Friday evening. And so as we were just sitting around the table and it was, we were talking, it was a great time. It was a lovely, lovely time. It was a Shabbos dinner, Frank. I just sort of, meandered my way over to the other room where the TV was and where my kids were enjoying this highly anticipated matchup between the Knicks and the Thunder. And I was hearing them react to things, but I could not watch said things. And so my cue was to just go over there and sit down and just enjoy the game.
Without saying anything.
I just got up and walked there. It was a bit of an Irish goodbye, if you will.
In your own home.
Yeah. The classic, I think the classic move.
You left your missus stranded there, didn't you?
No, but they're good friends, so I don't think they care.
Were her friends and yours?
No, mutual.
Ugh.
I think the classic is the cleanup, but some people just don't take that as a
that's
cue.
not nice.
You got to slap your
I don't
knees
like that
and say, well.
Yeah,
Hey, hit him with like the heavy, like
That's a good one, Frank.
you
You
gotta
gotta
get
get
the bell. Yeah.
You just slap your knees. You go, well.
That is a good one. If you have kids, I often use my daughter in this particular light. You'll say like, you really need to get in the bath. You need to take a shower right now. You're filthy. Let me go up there and sort you all out. I'll put some bubble, and you kind of make it into a thing. So people are now thinking like, oh, okay, it's time to get into the bed. The bedtime routine. PT, correct me if I'm wrong, and I hope I'm not breaking the fourth wall. Didn't you have an incident recently where maybe some people close to you weren't, or should we not?
Just call them cabs.
Okay.
Oh yeah, taxi's outside. Like what? Taxi, go. It's paid for. Fucking get into it.
I stay in a small apartment, studios. Sometimes, the studio with the living room is right next to it. Sometimes I'll just get in my bed and just lay there and be like, all right, lock the door on your way out. Appreciate you coming.
That's it.
In the other room.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, this is Frank. Well, I have some people over. No, I don't think too much longer. No. Yeah. In fact, I think they're on their way out.
Jesus,
and then
Frank
I come
is
back
a
out.
legend at this.
And I do
Conniving.
the,
Well,
and then slap.
Can I just say,
I like the well. I'm an all right guy.
Ariel,
All right.
when I was in
think
his
that's
gap,
about it for
Looks like
tonight.
we're out of beer.
that is the one. Ariel just fell asleep beside me, yeah. When
I
we
didn't
were in
do
his
that.
gaff watching the basketball, like, oh, fucking hell. I was like, I'm going. Jesus Christ, let's not
I was
play
like,
this
this game's over.
Ariel
It's
woke
the
back
second
up.
quarter.
You're still here, man?
Yeah.
Ariel,
It's the second quarter. I'm like, oh, this is a route. It's like 25
It
to
was
24.
around. What was it? It was.
There was
like
a round.
30 points, wasn't it? Yeah, Mavericks.
Skinny. Happy New Year, Ariel. Why do you think Dana hasn't pulled the plug on Zuffa boxing? Or pulled the trigger, I should say. Maybe he's pulling the plug before he pulled the trigger. Seems like that would be a win-win for them. Is it even going to be called Zuffa boxing? Because Zuffa isn't really a thing anymore. In any event, that way UFC fighters can box and cross-promote with other promotions and they're still involved, but not directly as the UFC cheers to you and the boys in the back. I think
There's no way that's a big leap he's gone for there, isn't it? That you can
silly.
cross promote.
Yeah, no, that's silly.
Way.
Listen, crystal ball prediction, no intel, just like, prediction. I think he does get something going in 25, and I wouldn't be surprised if our good friend Turkey Al-Sheikh is involved. How about that?
Beep.
There it is. Mr. Clean, Ariel, let's talk about McGregor versus Paul. I have several questions. Which Paul, by the way? I'm assuming Logan. You can answer them quickly since there's a few. What does this mean for McGregor's UFC contract? TBD, it's still so far-fetched. Do they count it as one? Do they not? Who the hell knows? I assume the UFC will want to be compensated. Yes. McGregor has been very open about having only 2 fights left on his UFC contract. Correct. Do you think this fight will count? It's TBD. Is the fight KO or bust for McGregor? In other words, will decision victory be viewed as a loss? If McGregor wins, does he call out Jake Paul? If this fight happens for the reported $250 million purse, does McGregor ever fight in the UFC again? I mean, it's so speculative. Who the hell knows? I don't know. I don't think there's... From the hardcore fans, I don't see a lot of interest. And it feels like there's a lot of roadblocks. Could it happen again? I went through it all. It's a real thing. Does it eventually happen? I don't know. Is it high atop my list of things that I want to see from Conor in 2025? I'll be honest, no. I think there's more interest in Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor. I think that's a gigantic fight. Logan versus Conor, I don't see it as much. Will it do huge numbers? Will it be massive box office? Absolutely. But I think most MMA fans would agree with me when they say if Conor McGregor is fighting in 2025, they would rather see him fight an MMA fighter in an MMA cage.
Any interest in KSI? No. It's seeming like
if
that's
Conor McGregor is fighting in 2025, I would much rather him fight an MMA fighter in an MMA cage. Would I watch it? Would we cover it? Would we talk about it? Of course. I'm not saying that we're going to boycott necessarily, but it just feels like we last saw him against Dustin Poirier. He broke his ankle. We've been talking about and promised to come back for years now. It will feel very, I don't know, for lack of a better word, anticlimactic if it ends like this,
It'll feel the end of his MMA career, I think, if he boxes next, honestly.
I mean, maybe he's just going to go down that path, and if it's just like
I know,
these
but
types
for
of
all
fights.
the activity, like what you're boxing now, you're getting whatever reported amount of millions you're getting. There's no way. I honestly don't believe. I don't know if he'll fight again as it is, but if he goes boxing, absolutely not.
Yeah,
like you were in that world then,
Mikey T. Sky Nicholson proclaimed on the DAZN card during the Shauna Brown fight last night that she wanted to fight one more time before fighting for Undisputed. She wants Amanda Serrano next, but said she would take anyone they put in front of her. What is the likelihood that she gets the Serrano fight in 25? I mean, I think they're going to try to do Serrano versus Katie Taylor, and then who knows what happened to Serrano then. I did see Eddie Hearn say on the same broadcast, shout out to Charlie Parsons making his hosting debut. I thought he did a great job along with Sky, and Eddie was up there, and he said that Tiara Brown looks to be the next opponent for Sky, and they're looking to do it in March in Australia. And it seems like that's the move. Ade brought up a great one yesterday, Alicia Baumgartner. If it's not Serrano and it's not Katie Taylor for her, it would be Alicia Baumgartner, in my opinion, as far as like the biggest fight and the most interesting fight. But she's making big leaps, and she was, in my opinion, the runner-up for Female Boxer of the Year behind Gabrielle Fundora, who won 3 fights, as did Sky, but she became the youngest undisputed champion of all time. So Fundora wins, but Sky had a great year and took a big step, if you ask me. Ariel, what is your favorite WWE, WWF, and WCW belts? The Winged Eagle WWF belt from like the Bret Hart era is a favorite of mine. The old school IC title is a favorite of mine. The hardcore title was cool because it was just so unique. Didn't have the prestige, of course. Never was a huge fan of the WCW title / the World Heavyweight title. Old school tag team titles, like them much better than the current ones. Never really loved the US title. Yeah, I would say the Winged Eagle, WWF, the IC, the tag titles, because it reminds me of the Hart Foundation and the hardcore belt. Agent Spooky, do you have any insight on what Joe Rogan recently said about Jon Jones? He says Jones is asking for $30 million and he thinks the UFC is going to give it to him. I mean, Jones was asking for big bucks when, he was trying to fight Francis Ngannou, or that was in the works. Do I know if it's exactly 30? No. Am I surprised by that number? No. If you compare what the top heavyweights are getting in boxing, that's actually quite cheap, to be honest. And I think the UFC if the UFC paid Jon Jones 30 and they pay Tom Aspinall 5, let's just say, they're still going to make a massive profit off this fight. From the gate to the pay-per-view to everything involved. They're still going to make a massive profit. So there's nothing really to worry about there. It would be a big number. It wouldn't be the biggest number. Conor has made more. Khabib has made a lot of money as well. I don't know if it's quite 30, but I know the boys in the back are going to talk about that more tomorrow. And Kevin Lee alluded to it during our interview yesterday. Not a lot of guys are in that ballpark. A lot of boxers are in that ballpark who are way less accomplished than Jon Jones. Jon deserves, in my opinion, more than 30 for this fight and for everything he's done in his career. Does he get it? I don't know. Should he get it? Yes. Should I keep going, or do we have our next guest queued up? Okay. Hi, Ariel and crew. As we're all aware, Jon Jones will likely face Aspinall next. What isn't clear is if it will be his last fight. In the perfect world, who would you guys want Jones to fight as his last opponent before retiring? To me, so he's giving us 3 options: Aspinall, Pereira, and Ngannou other. Golly. Can I get Aspinall and Ngannou and then Pereira? Can I get that? No chance that happens. 0 chance that happens. But I would love to see it. in that order. Shay, Ola Ariel from London by way of Derry, Ireland. Quick fire. Jones, 3-pointer attempt was worse than Conor McGregor's first pitch attempt. No. Conor's went way off. Jones was bad. His form was horrendous, but Conor's was worse in my opinion. Paul Hughes will fight in the UFC one day. Yes. Or, sorry, true. Okay, so I screwed up both. So false and true. Poirier will get his last dance in Louisiana. I'll say true. Either one of Bilal or Paddy return to the show. I'll say true. Paddy would be a return. Bilal would be a debut. Tom Aspinall overtakes Stipe as the best heavyweight of all time. True. Forrest win a major title again. True. Forrest, our magic, all the pitch. Frank actually had somewhere to be during the Christmas party. Absolutely, positively false.
I believe you, Frank.
That's fucking bullshit.
God bless. God bless. Some great questions today. We got through 19 of them. Perhaps we can squeeze in a couple on the back end. We got some super chatters. Let me answer some of these before we say goodbye. This is from Cowboy Pigeon. Hi, Rick. Are you okay with fans saying hi? You bumped me last night exiting the train station emergency door. You were watching your phone. I was scared to say hi. What the hell, Rick? Are you that guy?
Oh, man.
Wow.
Okay, so
Is this true?
100%. I was playing Magic. I'm sure of it.
Wow.
And I'm very, I mean, as you guys,
You're locked in.
anybody who's walked with me, I'm a New Yorker. I do not look
Called
up.
hyper attention.
I do not, saunter. I do not waste time, energy. I am a direct beeline to where I need to go. Be damned, anything in my way. I apologize profusely if I pinned you like that dude did to Ariel in the bathroom earlier. Please, next time, do stop me and say hi. But otherwise, if you don't stop me, I am going to continue moving forward, whether you're in my way or not. That's just the New York way.
That was, that was quite the revelation when I read that.
But yes, definitely
you
playing
think
Magic.
this happened? You think this happened?
Oh, I'm sure it happened.
Oh, wow.
I'm certain. And I'm certain there's been many other victims of this in the past, but not many that also would recognize me and have known. So apologies. Next time, get out of the way or stop me and say, "Hey, are you New York Rick?"
They're in the chat right now.
Either of
saying
those
it's
two will
34th
work.
Street, and they're in all caps. I think they're just elated. That
30. Yes, I get out a pen to go. So
What about Frank just doxing you right here?
100% certain.
in the chat.
I mean,
I
it's
was
literally, you didn't have
I
to
was
say
playing
it.
Magic
Look, I
on
know
my
you got
way
pinned
to
in the
my
bathroom
Long
earlier.
Island Railroad train. Shout out to you. You're a legend.
Sleeto says, GC, please speak on the absolute banger that is Firas Ziam versus Mike Davis, the curtain jerker for the Izzy Imavov Saudi card. What a fight that'll be.
Wow, shout out to Sleeto, man. Always sending in super chats. We appreciate that. Yeah, you know what? Mike Davis, Farah Ziam for the Saudi card is what Steve Garcia versus Edson Barbosa is to the UFC Seattle card. If you've never watched a Mike Davis fight, they're incredible. Even when he doesn't get finishes, they're always wars. And like sneaky, Farah Ziam is like 6-2 or something in the UFC, and Mike Davis is like 4-1. Both guys on good runs. Sleeto knows ball, man. Sleeto knows ball.
He does. He does. How about this one from Jamal? Awkwardly quit job on Monday. Any stories of you quitting? Well, I have a pretty legendary one. I worked for Spike TV in September of 2007. My first day was on a Monday. The following Monday, actually, okay, so Monday, Tuesday, we were in the office. Wednesday, we flew to Las Vegas to work, quote unquote. I put it in quotations on a UFC card that was headlined by Dean Thomas versus Kenny Florian, and I was there. This was a dream job. I'm working in television, home of the UFC, Spike TV. I wanted this so bad. And I remember, okay, first day there, we're just kind of walking around. Second day there, kind of walking around. Third day, I asked my superior, I'm like, so what exactly are we doing? Like, we're not really producing stuff. We're not really making things here. And he says to me, I'll never forget, he's like, we're just kind of here to make sure everything's okay. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't sign up for this. I can't just be here. I felt like I was in the way. I felt like I was taking up space. I remember sitting in the truck. That was a cool experience to see what happens with the commercial breaks and the producers, the directors. You know, I never really sat in a live truck before. I got back to New York on that Monday. So 7 days later, I walked into my boss's office, Brian Diamond, the head of Spike Sports at the time, and I said, I think I've made a big mistake. This job isn't for me. Now, this is an absurd thing. I tried for months to get this job, but I'm the kind of person, if I don't feel it, I don't feel it, and I don't want to live life not feeling it. And so I said to him, I don't think this job is for me. I think I need to go. I'm sorry this didn't work out, but I'm not the right fit. He told me I was making a huge mistake, that I would regret this forever, that I would never, ever, ever bounce back, that I would never live this down, and made me feel awful, to be honest. I stuck around for about a month and change until they found someone to replace me. And during that month, around a week or so after like just completely being the black sheep, I remember going to Whole Foods, Columbus Circle, calling my very good friend Aaron Cohen and saying, hey, I'm thinking of starting a website and going full on into combat sports journalism. And I was going to interview MMA fighters and wrestlers and boxers. And I'm going to show people that I can interview fighters more so than anyone, better than anyone. And I would reach out to them via MySpace, and I would post an audio interview with a fighter every single morning at 8 a.m. And I would give myself from October of 2007 to April of 2008 to get noticed. If it doesn't work out, I'll go back to TV production. I've told this story before. And that's what happened, jerrypark.com. And in a way, it kind of hits me right now. jerrypark.com was the precursor to uncrowned.com, because for all the people who try to say, like, I know nothing about boxing or I don't like boxing, go back to jerrypark.com. There's a ton of boxing content there. For those that say the same about pro wrestling, go there. The original dream was all three. There was a thing called the Fight Network back in the day, and they were covering all three very seriously. And I thought that was the end-all, be-all. And that's why in November of 2007, a month into my journey on jerrypark.com, when John Pollock reached out to me to be on Mauro Ranallo's radio show, when they asked me to be a guest, I thought that I had reached the mountaintop. That was my Netflix. And so I come all the way back now. Now, of course, over time, first job I get is an MMA, and I'm like, okay, there's a path here, and I'm someone who has to go all in. But the goal was always, people like to use me talking about, I see this all the time, like, oh, Dana White hates you, that's why you have to talk about boxing. You guys, just because you think your life and life in general needs to be just stick to one thing, that's not the way I'm wired. The goal was always to come back. The goal was always to spread my wings. The goal was always to be more than just an MMA guy, more than a combat sports guy, more than a sports guy. Just because you can't understand that and wrap your head around that, don't saddle me with those low expectations. And so go back to Jerry. It's right there on the website. All that content is still there. It took some time. I spent a lot of time. I got to ESPN. I did the NBA thing a little bit. I got to do some other stuff, Olympic thing, bird watching thing, this thing, that thing. And now here we are back doing the combat sports thing, among other things as well. So yeah, it was pretty awkward. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty awkward, but Jamal, don't let anyone tell you you're making a mistake. Don't let anyone tell you you're wasting your time. Follow your heart. And as I like to say to everyone, you only get one life. You only get one shot at this thing. If you're not feeling it, quit, move on. It might be tough. You might have to eat some shit sandwiches. I heard a great quote just yesterday about shit sandwiches, about eating them and about life being just a bunch of them being served to you. But it's how you digest them, Frank. It's how you digest the shit sandwiches.
I prefer not to eat a shit sandwich at all.
It's a damn good quote.
Shit sandwich is similar to fruit before or after dinner type thing.
Oh, it's funny you say that.
I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.
I was eating, I've been lately, canoodling with the staff, and I was eating lunch with you guys, which I enjoyed.
It's important to note that you're making a delineation here, because that would mean that previous to this you didn't.
Well, it was different. I mean, without getting into it, it's different. I get in, it's late, I'm sitting at my desk. We were all very close to each other. I could literally sit at my desk and eat and talk to you guys, but now there's like it's a whole freaking track. We can't have
food in the control room, but you can eat while you're...
The point is, I was eating with the boys and girls yesterday, and I didn't want to note it because I didn't want to open this can of worms. But true or false, everyone's eating their lunch. It's a great time. I'm actually genuinely thinking to myself, wow, I really like these people. It's nice to hang out with them. Everyone's done eating. And at the end of their meals, which are heavy meals, there's rice, there's salad, there's fish, there's all kinds of things, Rick breaks out an apple. And he starts cutting this apple. And the first thing that comes to mind is, if I did this right now, I would be done. I mean, the bloating, the issues that I would have, the apple after the meal.
This is the most insane
So it's like
thing I've
any
ever
was
time. I thought this was
envious.
apple at night. I thought this was like you can't eat it at night. You
I
can't eat
cannot
an apple,
eat 'em-
period?
No, the fruit always has to come first.
As the
This is
first thing of a
insane.
meal.
It's
Otherwise,
This feels like a placebo.
no, it's empty. I'm telling you, man, it ain't
Did
placebo.
you see him
If
cut
I
the
have,
plastic knife?
yeah, it was wild. It was wild.
It ain't a placebo.
If I have a piece of fruit of any kind after a meal,
After any
I
meal.
am effed. Effed.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Ask Pina Helwani. Pina Helwani will tell you that you have all this food in your stomach, and when the fruit sits at the top, I always have this visual. She would tell me the fruit sits at the top, it rots, and thus you have
No.
indigestion. This is what she told me when I was a kid, and
I know. I
stuck
feel
to
like
it.
because it's in your head, you
I can't
automatically
do it.
think it's going to happen.
I'm terrified of it.
I had mandarins, bananas, apples all
You had two
throughout the day
bananas
today.
this morning, right?
2 bananas, 2 mandarins, 2 apples. I mean, I was doing it all.
What's the cutoff? Like a cucumber? That's part
by
of
the way,
group.
I'm not saying this to
Is a tomato
put
a fruit or a vegetable?
Yeah,
we
like,
can
what do you
find out
do?
by trying to get you to eat a tomato after
Can't
you
eat my pizza unless it gets
tomato.
first.
That's
Tomato's
the
okay
test.
because that's in a
is
salad.
there a size of meal that has to be eaten? What if it was like you ate some fruit and then some other fruit on top of it? Now, what happens then? Is it like
No,
Inception?
That's a good
That's-
point.
that's
a good
okay,
point.
like
what
a
if you
fruit
just ate a shit
salad?
ton of fruit salad?
No, that's okay. But to
Wait,
be
that's
honest, like-
okay?
well, because it's just fruit salad. It's just all
I
fruit.
love this, I love this image of like a sewer cap
Hold on.
of food, and
Yeah.
then the fruit just sits on top and
100%.
rots.
If I have like a meat sandwich, right, or a hamburger,
Shit sandwich.
or lasagna, if I top that off with, you
couple
know,
blueberries, couple handfuls of blueberries.
Okay, I have to know
Finish.
something.
fuck.
Did somebody at some point in your life tell you that this would happen, or
Yes.
did you
My
just
mom.
discover this?
No.
See that
No, he keeps saying
eliminates
this.
it.
When he
That
was a
eliminates
young
it.
kid, they
Yes.
sat him
Nah,
down and
yeah,
was just
see,
like, "What are you hoping to get from Santa Claus?"
real.
And he was like, "Oh, I hope I get a bike." She's like, "Well, don't eat any fruit after your dinner, or you're fucked."
Not real.
She
Okay.
said I would
I
feel
love-
some sort of way. I would feel some sort of way, and she's like, "Yes, of course, it's rotting at the top of your stomach." I mean, I could call her right now.
I
and she
love
can
your
explain it to
mother.
me.
I don't think that's
Truly,
how
one of the
anatomy works.
nicest humans ever. This is a fabrication. I cannot
Look it up.
You know, I actually went to the doctor, the gastro last year, and he was just like, "I eating fruit after meals?" You know,
what'd he
it
say?
sits on top of your stomach and
Yeah.
then it rots.
See?
And I was like,
Validation.
"Show me that
I went to
somewhere."
medical school. for this
Validation.
one fact.
Thank you,
This
doctor.
is crazy.
No,
This
I
is
mean, we
crazy.
got all kinds. Listen, Jews are known to have sensitive stomachs. We've
Yeah,
got all kinds
that
of
I
problems.
know. That one.
IBS,
That
this
old.
and
That.
I think you might just have like an intolerance to fruit.
Nah, because I can eat a fruit, and I tend to not have fruit like post 10 a.m. unless I'm on an empty stomach. Because if
You
I
never have fruit.
if I have a fruit, no, you know, a nice little banana in the morning,
Okay,
mango, things of that nature. But like I can't. If I have it now, I'm kind of screwed in.
What if the fruit is inside something? What if
What if it's
like,
in a dessert?
or no? What if
like an
what if
apple
it's like
pie?
what if
Yeah.
there's some
Risky,
apple?
risky.
My favorite salad. Shout out
Did you
Chop.
Surgery on the apple pie.
My
Risky.
favorite salad has apple slices in it. What if you ate a salad with apple in it?
You can't do it.
Risky, very risky. In fact, if I have like a strawberry ice cream,
was just about to
risky
say,
as well.
strawberry
I'm kidding,
ice cream is
I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm kidding.
No, but what if there were real strawberries on the ice cream?
It's minimal.
What about the
So a
cherry
piece
on top of the
fruit
whipped
is
cream?
worse for you than
Cucumber, bell pepper, jalapeno.
fruit flavored dairy.
Yeah. And by the way, pay attention to those cherries on top of your ice cream because they have red dye in them. That's bad news.
Yeah, they're maraschino cherries. They're not-
And the microwave gives you rays that'll kill you.
Oh, we don't have a microwave. I
That's
told you
what I'm
about
getting at. Like,
The-
I'm
no,
starting
the
to
dyes are
point
actually
out-
bad for you. The dyes are actually bad for you.
that. The dyes are horrible.
Yeah, like
Don't
really
get
bad. Like
don't
the
get Jacqueline started on the
They're
dyes.
illegal in
Oh, we don't let our kids have the dyes.
Yeah, it's smart, man.
I let my
Do you
kids
let
have
them have fruit?
yeah, they're fine with the fruit
Before or
thing.
after dinner.
I let my kids have a Shirley Temple, and
You take out the cherry.
and all hell broke loose. The Shirley Temple, the dyes.
Oh, you got in trouble.
Man, I
Okay,
had
I got it.
I had Captain Crunch berries over the break. That
Oh, yeah.
was just chock full of the
You're
dyes.
hanging out in an elementary
You got the. Well, I was hanging out with my nieces and nephews. They're crushing it, and they're like, "Yo, Uncle C, you want a bowl?" I was just like,
Uncle
"Absolutely, I do." Uncle C, and then the 5-year-old calls me bruh.
Unk? No unk yet?
No unk yet.
I get unk.
But I mean, I looked at I was like, what are in these bad boys? I mean, the laundry list ingredients, it's like red 40, red 5, yellow 8, blue, purple, just like a million types of dyes in there.
There's nothing
confession.
I love
Okay,
more
great.
than reading
Great.
a long list of dye colors. Love it. Or a restaurant with a C health code rating.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the two signs I know
Sign
I'm
me
eating
up.
good that night.
While we're
those are the
laughing
two
at each
sides.
other.
Crazy.
Captain Crunch berries are also elite. If we ever get into a cereal conversation,
When I was younger, I would look at the back of like a bag of Skittles and see like red 7, blue 3. I thought that was
number of
the quantity. Of,
Oh Jesus! Are you serious?
wow,
I love it.
Wow,
Frank's over there and saying, "There's not even a blue one. Where's the blue?"
I thought maybe you had to mix and match to get to the blue. You know, it's a primary.
I love it.
color.
wow.
Well, on that note, great stuff. Thanks for watching this video. Hey, before you go, do me a favor, hit that sub button, give us a thumbs up, hit the little bell thingy as well. Leave us a nice comment or two. We appreciate you all very much.